If you're constantly doubting what trades to take and you don't know how to filter your setups when trading, this is the best method and actually the simplest method you can use to basically define what trades to take in the live markets. Hey guys, welcome to a new video in my channel, and this is gonna be a quick video when I wanted to show you a simple method I use to decide what setups to take in the markets. So right now I'm basically on TradingView and I have 3 pairs at the moment that there's actually nice examples to explain my point. So for example, in this case, GBP/JPY, there's 2 valid setups, right? So for example, this long position, which is a longer range, or this one right here, which is a shorter range. So I've actually received a lot of DMs on my Instagram of people basically asking me how to identify what setup is valid and what setup is not based on their backtesting session. And important to mention before continuing with this video, this is a video specifically for traders that focus 100% on data. They have backtested their strategy a lot of times, a lot of sample sizes. They have something like this where they literally have a huge sample size of backtested trades and they know how their data performs over time, but at the same time, they don't know how to refine and take the best setups based on their approach. Because the idea when we trade is to actually trade the exact same way as we do when we backtest. So if we're taking a specific pattern or a specific setup in our backtesting, we should be taking the same setup in the live markets. So the method I use is really simple. First, you have to buy the membership on TradingView. I think it's like 20 USD or something. I might be completely wrong, but I think that's more or less. And you go to replay the mode. And actually, before doing that, you just invert your screen. At least in Mac, you basically press Option and you press the letter I. That basically inverts the screen, and then you just go to replay the mode. When you go to the replay mode, you just go to here, expand the screen, and you start doing as if you were backtesting. Why? Because our mind basically develops the pattern we're used to trade when we're backtesting. So we're used to move price forward, and we immediately see a setup after we basically move price. So let's say, for example, in this case, I'm moving price forward, right? And boom, I immediately see my setup right here. So in my case, this will be my valid setup. Maybe in your mind, immediately this setup shows more clear than this one, so you would take the longer range. In my case, I will take the shorter range because it's what makes more sense to my mind. I know it might sound kind of like weird, but if you actually have backtested a lot of times, as I said before, you have a lot of backtesting trades, then when you come back to the trading view and you basically use this method, literally your mind's gonna shout to yourself, hey, this is the correct setup, and you're gonna take it. You're not gonna focus on this bigger range. You're not gonna focus on other ranges here, or even like in this case, a shorter range. You're basically gonna focus on what your mind is immediately saying, because when you're backtesting, you're not doubting. You're just taking every single setup. So that's basically what I use when I use, for example, another example, let's say AUD NCD. So we just exit the replay mode. And in this case, for example, it's even more complicated because we have a longer range here. So for example, a short setup, in this case, targeting this lows. Or we also have, for example, this longer range as a long setup in here. So we have a short, we have a long, and we also have a shorter range in this case from this low to this high. So in this case, it will be the same question. What setup should I take? Okay, so we repeat the method. We invert the screen. We replay mode, we come back here, we put full screen, and we just basically put our chart the exact same way we do when we backtest, and we start moving forward. Okay. Then for example, in this case, I see this setup, right? So I mark it up, right? We keep, okay. Then I see this setup right here. I ignored this one, and I now see this setup here. So if I invert the screen again, I'm specifically focused on this one. I'm not focused on this short, neither this long. I'm focused on this specific long. So I'm gonna take this setup right here, targeting this high. That's basically the method I use. I hope it was kind of clear. I know it's really simple. You might say this doesn't work or anything, but honestly, I invite you guys to try it out. I have actually shared this same method to a lot of followers on my Instagram, and they have actually said it works, because at the end, if you're somewhat you're focused on backtesting, you have backtested a lot of times and you have a huge sample size of how your edge performs over time, then your mind already have a pattern recognition developed. and it's gonna be way easier to actually trade the live markets as if you were backtesting than just actually coming to the live markets and seeing the charts kind of like frozen because it's not moving price forward. So yeah, I hope it works. Let me know if it actually worked, if you try it out in the comments. And as always, see you guys in the next video. Take care.